Hello folks, and welcome back to Saving Miller. Today we got something different. I'm going to show you, unbox my new Miller 215 welder. So I'm an amateur welder, I'm not a professional. I've had a very cheap one from the Harbor Freight guys, of course, and I got it about 5 years ago, and I started using it a little bit, and I enjoy welding. I enjoy fabricating things out of metal, but the weld quality is quite poor. And I wanted to make sure that I have a machine that actually works well, and so that I can determine if it's what I'm doing or if it's the machine, right? So this will eliminate that, I think. So I'm going to unbox this and show you my first impressions and the first weld. Let's get to it. So I bought this from welding supplies from IOC in Indiana. So here we have the owner's manual. This is the Miller Multimatic 215, as I mentioned, 215. Okay, let's see. We have a big bag of stuff. Okay, so we've got the, I'll unbox this so you can see what it is. Miscellaneous accessories that go with the welder. Packaged in there very nicely. Okay, looks like we have the power cord. One of the things I really like about this welder is this option. So I can take this piece off. I'll have to read the directions to figure out exactly how this works, but so you can use 220 plug, or there's another plug like this for 110. So I thought that's pretty fantastic, you know. So if I'm out welding around the farm somewhere and I need to run off a small generator, I can do that. Or if I'm in the shop, I still have to do the wiring, but I can use the 220 volt plug. Okay, get this stuff out of the way. It comes with a gas regulator. Take a look at this thing. Okay, that feels like a good solid regulator. It is from Miller. It's intended for argon or argon CO2 mixture. So this thing is nice. Very nice. Set that aside in a safe place. And we've got a set of leads. This welder is just really versatile. Gun feels a little plasticky here. Let's get this cut off. Really awkward space here right now, but got all kinds of stuff going on, so it has to be. Zip ties all over the place. So the welder that I have is a MIG welder. Oh, that feels nice. Nice smooth contact. Okay, so let's set this aside. I think we're finally there. Shiny new machine. So for a welder with this kind of power, this thing is pretty lightweight. I mean, I've got a bum shoulder right now, and I can easily lift it with one arm. It's got a little screen protector there. All this stuff, place to plug in the leads. nice solid power cord. This thing is nice and big. Very impressed with that. So that's everything that's in the package there, in the box. Okay. Oh, there's a spot for, I believe that might be for the plug. Here we go. So, this thing is a threaded connection, so this little nut holds it on. It doesn't actually feel very robust in my opinion. The leads here seem to be fine. They're nice. That's a nice touch there. Otherwise you have to have a drawer somewhere to store that thing and you lose it. So initially I'm going to have to use 110. So I'll get this on there. That's what we'll start with today. Okay, that feels pretty good. Get rid of that warning tag. All right. So I'll get you closer here so you can see what this thing looks like. Okay, here's the front of the machine. So you can see this one is electronic. The knobs feel great. Really nice, smooth. I like this. Hopefully I'll be careful enough I don't have to spatter anything. But here's another reason I chose this one. You can do flux cord, you can do the different types of MIG, including aluminum. So this is set up for this spool. I believe this is the Spoolmate 100. And you can also do TIG and stick. So I've never used a stick welder, but I'm kind of excited to try that out. Let's take a closer look at the inside here. Okay, so here we've got the spot for the wire. This looks like it's set up pretty well. Here on the back of the door, we've got some basic instructions and some wire specs, things like that. That's really, I think that's great. It's really nice they provide that information. So the challenge, of course, is going to be to make sure that card stays nice and usable. Around the back, we've got the leads. Got power switch, plug, has a fuse on there, and so you can see that. So we have an input for different types of gases. So we just have to adjust the settings on the front, and it can switch between those. So this is a really nice little machine here. I'm really excited about this. Let's look at what else came with it in the bag. Okay, here's the bag of goodies. Let's see what we have. Alright, some Velcro straps to manage the leads. That's nice. Okay, safety manual for the pressure regulator. That will be useful. As an amateur, I'm sure I can learn something from it. Normally I would not read many directions, but in this case I will, since I know very little about this thing. And as I mentioned, I am an amateur. A roll of 0.30 wire. This is the solid wire. So since I don't have any gas yet, I can't actually use that just yet. We've got a nice little feeler gauge for determining metal thicknesses. I like that. I have to secure this to the welding cart that I intend to build. Okay. So here we have the directions for the welding gun. Owner's manual. I'll look through that on my time. And we've got a little wrench, 1/2 inch and 9/16. Another wrench, 5/8 and 11/16. I'm going to take a wild guess. Looks like the, yep, got a 1/2 inch nut there. So this is probably set up for connecting and disconnecting hoses. Okay, 2 tips. That'll be nice. Okay, so these are the leads. Oh, got the ground in there, so I do have to open that. Wow, these leads are really nice. Nice, thick wire, good solid insulation. Feels like quality. Okay. Pretty stout clamp. Really very nice grounding clamp here. That looks good. Okay, let's get this thing set up and do a little welding. I thought I should also show you this page so you can get an idea of the ratings and capacity for this welder. So for MIG, 120 volts, 30 to 125 amps, 240, goes up to 30 to 230. Then there's the TIG and stick. So 200 up to 200 amps for the stick welding. Okay, so I've got the leads hooked up here, set up for solid core or a flux core wire. This little brass plug goes in there, about 1/2 a turn to tighten it up. And then for the gun, this piece goes in here. Slides right in there. This part. So this plug is a little more tricky. The wide slot is on the top, so that goes up. There's only one way for it to go in there. There's a little screw to tighten it down. There we go. Okay, I've got it all set up here. I'm ready to go. I've got my test spot there, so let's turn it on. I should mention, I won't go through the instructions. The instructions were very clear on how to get this all set up and oriented and all of that, so no need to show you that. So we've got it turned on. It's starting up. We are set for 1/8 inch steel, so I'm going to lower that just a little bit. Got some pretty thin stuff. I'm going to turn auto set on. Okay, let's make a weld. Well, that was pretty poor quality on my part. Well, let's use our handy dandy little gauge here. I don't actually know what this stuff is. Okay, 14 gauge. That's what I set it at. Okay, we're gonna try this again. I think my my weld speed was a little too slow or too fast. So I reset things, cleaned it up. We're gonna try again. Okay, that went better. Terrible looking bead. And it's too fat. This time, it actually helped. Well, I'm gonna have to play with the auto set a little bit. I think I turned the voltage up just a little bit, and I decreased the wire speed, and that enabled me, probably due to my lack of skill, that enabled me to at least get a bond there that's pretty strong. So I'll have to do some more practicing. It's been maybe a couple years since I got out the welder. Overall, I have to say I am just very happy with this thing. Clearly I've got a lot of practice to do, and I'll figure that out. Really, this type of welder with the flux core wire is very, very easy to use. That's what I've been using. And so once I get a feel for it, I'm sure I'll be able to get that dialed in and make some cool projects. Now, I do want to be very, 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 very clear. Even though my name is Miller and all of that, and of course I had to have a Miller welder because of that, I am in no way affiliated with them. All I did is purchase their product. So this was not sponsored in any way, and I'm just a regular customer who purchased the product from an online company that I mentioned, and I am very happy to have it. So this is just my first impressions. This is not a review, because I don't think a review should be done until the person has actually used it for real and done some things with it. So just first impressions, I'm very, very pleased. And I think overall it's a pretty good value. You know, if you include the capabilities that this machine has, this is probably the last welder I'll ever need. I don't intend to get too serious, and definitely won't be doing any structural welding or anything like that. This is really for use around the farm and for some projects that I've got. So I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, Saving Miller out.